Hello again. This is going to be a quick video. The sun's going down behind the ridge over there. We just finished dinner. So I just had to get into a position where I could get enough sun on me so I wasn't in darkness or shadow. A friend did ask me as well if I can share about some of the emotional stuff which comes up, and also too about protein, about where to get your protein from, a common question. So these two aren't necessarily related, but they certainly can be. So emotionally, see, it's an interesting thing. We use, I think, addictive foods, addictive substances, whether it be food or drink. Either the types of foods, whether they're stimulating or depressing, or the amount of food. And it doesn't just have to be food, it can be whether or not we breathe correctly, or whether or not we dehydrate ourselves, or whether or not we hold ourselves immobile, or we don't get ourselves active and get the blood circulating. All these ways, all these things we do it to hold energy and to stop feeling, because feeling requires a movement of energy. So one of the things we do definitely to deny our emotional states is to eat in certain ways. Either overeat, or foods which are heavy on the digestive system, so they take energy down here and take it away from here, where we're usually all emotional. So they enables us to stay in states of denial. So when you go onto a cleaner diet, less food and a cleaner food, natural food, you no longer have these palliatives, or these suppressants, you might say, which are our foods. And the emotions come to the surface. And what it really does, because we normally look for exterior, superficial things for our fulfillment, when we're not really fulfilled inside, in that way they keep us distracted from, what it is that we're feeling. As soon as we take them away, then that lack of fulfillment comes to the surface, and then we have to start asking ourselves, what is it in life that really moves me, that really fulfills me? So this is something that will happen if you do something like this, or go into this type of regime, and especially just with raw food, is the fact that you have to start asking serious questions about who you are, why you're here, what your life is about. Because all of a sudden, the superficial things where you probably derived meaning, whether it be alcohol or drugs or just cooked food, chocolate, coffee, other stimulants, alcohol, depressants, when you're no longer masking your emotions, you have to really feel what's happening. And that can be quite challenging, because for whatever reason you're unfulfilled, whatever reason you're not stepping up and moving towards your dreams, that's where your fear is. And whether it be insecurity or inadequacy around who you are, or anything about you, generally it's fear-based, and it takes a bit of courage to face that. So that's something you have to be aware of, that when you embark on a journey like this, you could run into at some point your own fear. Now, on a purely physical or physiological level, definitely one of the fears I have is about losing weight. When I was growing up, I have a twin brother, and he's a lot bigger than I am. We're not identical. And I can remember in primary school when we used to play Kiss JC, all the girls would be chasing him. He's got this big body, and he was very athletic. He was always stronger, always faster. And when I was growing up in high school, I had a nickname. My nickname was Weedy. I was a late developer, and I never really filled out much. So, when the girls are calling you Weedy, you start to think, well, maybe something's a bit wrong with who I am. So I looked up to my twin brother as a physique that I wanted to emulate, and when I started martial arts training, I started to bodybuild as well, and I started to make myself big, and it became a bit of an obsession. And so getting big meant, and putting on this lots of muscle and making body all sculpted and beautiful, I thought I would be lovable. So when my health started to break down, there's a bit of a story behind there, and I'll share it with you one day. When my health started to break down, I had to face the fact that I was going to go back towards a natural size, and would I be lovable or not? So I had to face that fear, that insecurity. And I still have that insecurity. It's fairly deeply ingrained within me. about being small, about being skinny. I'm about 5'10½", currently 57 kilos, but I think a natural weight for me, at least on cooked food, was around 63 kilos. So I don't know what it's going to be like raw after, for a long period of time, or even vegan, if I can even do vegan at this stage, I don't know. But I'm giving it a damn good go, and we'll see what happens of the experiment. But yeah, so as I lose weight, it raises, and I start to get weak and lethargic because of all these internal changes that are happening. I start to doubt. I start to wonder if I'm doing the right thing. People start to wonder, am I getting enough nourishment? Am I going to die? But, you'd have to be doing something pretty drastically wrong to die from starvation. And in fact, I'm eating according to hunger. So in the last few days, when I started to get a little bit hungry mid-afternoon, I upped my intake of bananas just by just 2 extra bananas, and that fixed it. So you're not going to die, and you're not going to lack nourishment if you start to listen to your body. So it's very tempting to get into scientific formulas and scientific studies about what we should be eating, when in actual fact, animals don't need those scientific studies to know what they need to be eating, and we never used to need those scientific studies to know what we should be eating. In fact, it's just about connecting with your food and connecting with the land, connecting with nature, and connecting with yourself to know what it is you need to be eating. But yeah, doubt does arise, and you get afraid, and you wonder, as you're losing weight, oh, what are people going to think? Because of the Holocaust and the wars and the depression and all that type of stuff, we see people starving in third world countries, we see people starving, and we associate that thinness with starvation and malnutrition. And we don't look at obesity and the fact that people are so overweight with malnutrition, when in actual fact it's malnutrition exactly the same. So yeah, you will start to lose weight, you will get thinner, and you'll lean up. And just be happy with your natural body and take that journey. It's pretty amazing to be able to connect with yourself and know what it is that your body's really asking. So where do you get your protein from? Well, you'll get it from all your foods. All your foods contain amino acids. And most of your plant foods, as far as I'm aware, are complete proteins, especially your greens. They're all complete proteins. So you get all your amino acids, especially from your greens, and most of your plant foods. And you just might need to eat more of it, greater quantities. Animal products have a broad spectrum of amino acids and all the essential amino acids in greater concentration. So of course you're going to get your amino acids a lot easier from those products. But I'll talk a little bit about animal proteins at a little later date. Don't have time now. But it is important to realize that you don't actually want protein. The body doesn't want protein. So people say, oh, where to get your protein from? What your body wants is amino acids. So any food that your body takes down which has proteins, so peptide chains, your body must break down that peptide chain to produce amino acids. Because the amino acids are the brick that the body uses to build the wall, which are your tissues and organs. So that's what your body requires. So dense, hard to digest proteins, whether it's in the form of indigestible legumes or the form of certain foods, or even your denser fleshes, your animal products, your body has to spend a lot of energy breaking those down, if it can at all, to produce amino acids with which to build tissues. And you'll generally find it's a lot easier with plant foods. Yes, the concentration of amino acids might not be as great, but if you're patient and if you don't overburden your body, then you'll find that you get everything that you need. It can become a bit of an art form, but look out in nature. All those herbivores, other anthropoid primates, they can get all that they need. So, if you're overburdening your body and you think you need more protein, that you need to take supplements, so be it. But understand that quite often it might not be protein that the body's asking for. It could actually just be better quality nutrition. It could be more energy in the form of fruit sugars. You could also be running an addiction, a protein addiction. We can run those addictions. So, and then sometimes it's suppressing, because protein in many of the forms that we take it, can be harder to digest. So, and when your body has to work harder, then there's less energy available for other things, so it can also be suppression. Food for thought. But the sun's going down now. It's probably several minutes away from popping behind that ridge. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.